them some opportunity to do something.
Okay, guys, it's 9:58. I'm gonna hit go live.
Do it.
So we're going live. Don't say anything nuts.
Or do say something nuts. You know, however you're feeling.
Let's see if it's, don't say anything nuts about anybody. How about that?
Okay.
Unless you got beef with them or you're not their friend no more.
So we're officially live.
Are we?
Yeah, we are. Welcome to Bedtime Stories.
Okay, I'm showing live. Things are nice. Things are nice.
Joining us.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hey. So this is Bedtime Stories tonight. I am Sin Rose and
I'm Red. Welcome. We're very excited tonight to have wonderful special guests.
Thank you for having us.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for having us, Red. We love you.
We love you very much and we miss you.
Well, I mean, and on that note, I guess I'll just let you guys introduce yourselves. Ladies first. Who are you?
I'm Gyzellah.
y'all better know who this is.
I'm Gyzellah. My nickname is Mo. I'm a bartender and I make pussy pops.
Yeah. Which in turn could possibly make pussy pop.
My name is
Specialty drink.
Right, we got our very own Mo the bartender.
Yeah, lots of people brave about that pussy pop thing, but you know me, I always get the same thing, my creature of habit.
I know what you got. And the shampoo in it. I got it.
She knows me.
And sir, who might you be?
I'm DJ Disciple, New York's best kept secret. Do a lot of parties all over the world, and I love playing in my favorite city in the world, New York City.
Sweet.
I love it. I remember being a teenager and being like, Disciple's gonna be here, because we get those flyers that be like in Washington Square Park, and there's always like some paper neon flyer, or would come in the mailbox because we were on mailing lists, and they would send us flyers in the mail, and it'd be like, Disciple's gonna be, and I'd be like, we're going.
I remember Disciple on the radio at like
91.5.
Yes, on the college station. It used to come on at like 2 in the morning for like 2 hours, and I would lay in my bed and listen. And I will say this, that was one of my first, like, I like this music, and Disciple, after you, they used to play like death metal, like Panthera, and I would stay and listen to that too.
Nice. So, clearly, you both have a wonderful, colorful New York City nightlife history. And we'd love to hear some of the stories from that. So I don't know if you want to start with a question, Red?
Well, I think we should ask the question that we ask everyone else as they introduce themselves, but Gyzellah, why do you think we asked you to be here? Why do you think we asked you?
Margaritas now. Well, I don't know. I mean, I've been around, I guess. That's why. Maybe. I don't know what stories. I have so many stories from New York, but also before New York, and then connected with New York. It's funny how nightlife is actually worldwide, very connected. So I have some stories about that, actually, maybe.
And Disciple?
I got something different to say. I'm going to tell it a little bit different from everybody else, because I'm marching to my own beat. But I'm so grateful that I've had the career that I've had. And you know that where I come from is different. It's a different beat, a different path. And I am really engaged in the scene, the sound, and the music. And you know that. So it's a lot of different things going on with me. It's always been like that since the start. And so I'm really, really grateful for that,
As are we.
So I would love to know, maybe like, just to start, like, how did your journey into this, like, because all of our journeys have started like with, you know, oh, I went to this and I got turned out, or I like, you know, this is what made me become a part of who I am in my life. What was that for both of you? Disciple, I guess maybe you first.
Okay. Basically, I was a gospel music DJ. That's how I got the name DJ Disciple. It's a reminder of like, only what you do for Christ shall last. So what happened was I started mixing gospel music over hip hop breakbeats. And so I started experimenting with it, and I started doing gospel drink fellowships. Big Bob is the first person to teach me how to work a sound system at the Empire roller skating rink. And so I started, you know, learning that. But then my boy came in one day and he said, yo, check this out. He's my boy DJ Jazz. And he played a Chicago Tracks record. And I was like, yeah, this is cool. This is all right. And then, you know, at that same time, freestyle was coming out. Shannon, Rusty Taylor was the bass player that played for Shannon. Rusty Taylor lived up the block for me. So did Kenny Carpenter and Straight. So all those people are connected to Farragut. So I tried to see if I could get my hand into freestyle. And, you know, there was an assistant there. Her name was Paris. She was like, well, let me see you mix freestyle. And like, when you mix freestyle bad, it really comes out bad. You know, you'd be like, boom, boom, back, boom, boom. I was like, boom, 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 back, 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 boom, 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 back, boom, back, boom, back. I was like, wait a minute, I can't mix freestyle. So I went to a house party with Benji Candelario. And Benji Candelario was rocking it like nothing. Boom, back. He's hitting all the right notes. People scream. I said, I'm not going to get this experience now. And so what really turned me out was Grateful Love. And Roman Ricardo and Johnny Darnell did it for me. Those two DJs, Johnny Darnell played for like more for the children, for all the different houses, a house of extravaganza and all of that. So I had to have an ear for that scene. But then Roman Ricardo knew how to play for the B-boys, he played for the dancers, and he knew how to keep everybody in the room. He did everything. He was more open format. And so I merged those two styles. But Grateful Love was the connection that had everybody together. And so that's what really drew me in, was that one record, because back then in the late 80s, people was like, Grateful Love girls wearing their spandex, polka dot shirts, you know, the fades, everybody had fades. It was a scene. And it was like, yeah, I'm down with this dude. And then the music got more sexual. Baby wants to ride. All this and cat. So yeah, I you know, that the whole physical aspect of it really, really kind of turned me out. And to that point, I know Gyzellah wants to go, so I need to let her speak because I could go on.
Oh, you go. You go.
We're not in any rush, but now, you know. Because we like you got names and details. We like that.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is that like what I would do Johnny Darnell's. I would go to Johnny Darnell's on a Thursday night, and so what happens is that Johnny Darnell knew how to play for a straight crowd. He knew how to play, you know. He knew how to play for different crowds, and so as a straight guy, I was like, yo, I didn't care about who's sexual. He knew. I knew that the gay DJs knew how to play the best music in New York. Larry Levan, Kenny Carpenter, all those DJs knew how to play for straight crowds. So I went out there, I checked them out. And I'm seeing that. So I would go to Downtown Records the day after. And Ralphie would be mixing. He said, yeah, you went to go see Johnny Darnell, huh? He said, yeah, got you. Mine now. And so till 10 o'clock at night, I would be a slave to the rhythm. He would play a report, and my mother thought I was on crack because all my money was going on records. Angela Anselmo, she was the guidance counselor. She's a big book director now, but Angela Anselmo, she was a big guidance counselor. And she said, David Banks, what's wrong with you? How come you can't focus? I said, I have house music on my mind. I can't get it off of me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's good. It was in you. Now, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I have something to say. Mo, when I asked you when we asked you how you wanted your name listed on the flyer, you said Gyzellah, my new name. What's that about?
Yeah.
We doing, what's, is that what we should call you now? What's going down?
No, Gyzellah, my real name. I just
Her
spelled
real
it
name, though, I
different.
thought.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Gyzellah was your real name.
It is my real
It
name.
is her real name, but she never went by that.
So, well, this is really funny because during the pandemic, I tell you my story. So when I was 14, I grew up, I raised myself pretty much. So I was 14 years old. Was a regular in a nightclub already. So all the old kids from the street, they were like, come on, you come with us. But they were 18, 20, and there's a big gap, right? 14 to 20 is like really huge. So I was the little kid and the only girl. So they would drag me to these nightclubs in other countries, right? I was living in different countries before I got here in the mid 90s. So I was a regular at this nightclub. And what was my whole point now? Okay, so
this is about your name.
Oh, Gyzellah and the whole night. So I got into nightlife really early, and so already by the age of 14, and that became music is literally everything I listened to since that age. Every week, almost every day, I'm in the clubs, and I'm really up there age-wise. If I tell you my age now, I don't want to go there, but I'm up there. So, and during the pandemic, I realized what I miss is loud music and house music, but loud, because I've been in the clubs literally without a break my whole life. And I didn't realize I never had a real club break from life. And it's kind of crazy because I'm really a club baby. And it's so Gyzellah came because I have a huge music collection and all this online stuff. So I got myself a little equipment over the and I want to.
All right. Oh, and this is how it happened. People, you are seeing this live. Get ready for her to step to the other side of the bar. Let me let you finish. Go. It's so exciting to me.
I'm gonna be sitting here like this, wait, and I'm gonna do a little record collection. It's not even vinyl because I had sold my vinyl collection, so I have everything digitally now here. But I have a huge collection, and I would love to share it. So I don't want to be a DJ, but I want to share my music. So I came up with a name. Okay, that's gonna be Gyzellah. That's how that came about.
Okay, we're gonna have we had a little conversation about that before. We're gonna continue after this in private times. People get ready because it's called cutting out the middleman. Anyway, so Disciple, I have a question for you. Someone named Ali Coleman would like to know if you remember playing at 280 West in Jersey.
I'm pretty sure I don't remember. New Jersey was a great experience for me. A lot of my earlier radio fans came from New Jersey. And so I'm sure I remember playing for the event, but I don't know because I was doing Club 88, I did Zanzibar, I did so many clubs in New Jersey, after Tony Humphries left Zanzibar. And, Kevin O and I was the residents there. And then after that, Naeem Johnson kind of took me under his wing. And he put me under the Mirage. I started playing like a lot of the different clubs. Then Jazzy B came and he hooked me up with the college circuit, which got me exposed to more gigs. So I was working every weekend from like 91 to like almost 93 in Jersey exclusively. So 280 was probably a good experience for me. I don't remember. No, I don't. But 280 West, I'm sure it was a good party. But I don't remember everything.
Because you played it.
I don't. But I know that Jersey was an amazing time, and I know that I love the people that are dedicated to music now in New Jersey. And post the pandemic, you have to say that the New Jersey clubs, wow. All I can say is the big bang outs and all of that stuff that they do. Amazing contribution to dance music, I must say. Amazing.
Yeah, we definitely can't deny that.
Yeah, no, Jersey definitely is like they have their own scene, but they also sprinkle themselves right in the New York scene.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, they're doing some wonderful things in Jersey.
And we make jokes. Jersey knows they make their own jokes about themselves, but we love you, Jersey. We love you.
We love you, Jersey.
So, Mo, I have a question. First of all, I know somebody's your accent. Tell us about that accent.
So my accent is very questionable because
It is.
I know nobody can figure it out. I think I don't have one, first of all, which is funny. Everybody's like, "Where's your accent from?" So I'm born in Portugal, and I left when I was a kid already, and traveled to many different places before I came here. And I live here the longest. So I grew up with English as well because I traveled a lot. So all the people around me were speaking English all the time, but they all had an accent too. So my first English was like very weird, broken, strange sounding English with an accent from wherever I lived. So it had a French sound because I was in Paris for a while. I was in Germany for a while. I was like traveling a lot. So, and then when I got here, so now it's something I don't even know what it is anymore. I don't think I have one.
Well, whatever it is, it's very pleasant. You could do some sexy spoken word with that.
Yeah, so it changed probably multiple times already over the years, you know? Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you from C. Bochi. C. Bochi wants to know, how do you remember everybody's drink so well?
Oh, because I only remember the drinks of the people I love so much. And, you know, they're like a community. So, and people have their drinks. So it's love, you know, you remember the face, like what they drink, what they like. And it's, you know, we're a community. So I see you guys. Actually, I miss all of you so much because I would see you every week, at least once, twice a week. You know, it's a community. And right now I don't see any of you. So, but I still remember your drinks. I do remember all the drinks.
I have a question for you, Disciple, from my friend Darren. Darren asks where the name Catch 22 Records came from.
Catch 22 came because I got jerked by some labels. And it's like, you need a label to have profile in the industry. But then they rape you with no Vaseline. Absolutely no Vaseline. Because once you give them your record, they own it for life. And then they take your publishing, and then they take your rights, and then they take... I'm starting my own label. That's it. That's it. This is why I own my own records. I own my own productions. Currently, right now, Catch 22 started was because it was a Catch 22. You needed to put something out to build profile. So I worked with like-minded artists, and I made it a commission. But when the pandemic happened, I said, you know what? From June until now, until the end of August, I'm going to put out a record every single week. And so as of today, I have 75 YouTube videos. I've made 25 official videos. I have about 28 records on the album Sounds You Can Feel, Volume 1. And it's doing really well. And a lot of people don't, you know, they just see me as DJ Disciple in New York. I can only speak about New York only see me as DJ Disciple, but there's a lot of hidden layers to me that a lot of people do not know. And owning the record label and what my contribution in that aspect has been tremendous. Knowing the leading tech house people like Proc and Fitch, David Toit. I mean, these guys are huge in the festival scenes. A lot of that is not known in New York the way it is worldwide. But it's always had that boomerang effect. You're always respected abroad more than you're respected in your hometown. And I accept that because I like the humbling position. That's why we like to play door person, right, Red?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Tell me why you can't pay to get in tonight. I'm here for all the stories.
I know all about that life.
I love it. People always like, we don't want you to do the door. You're a promoter. I'm like, but I enjoy it so much.
I want you to please just tell everybody what the name of your YouTube channel is so that they can find some of this.
I mean, it's just underneath. If you Google DJ Disciple, you'll see Wikipedia, and then you'll see YouTube, and you'll see all my videos. The whole purpose of the videos is to try to attract millennials and Gen Z. So much how I work with dancers in the nightclub scene and the bottle service scenes and all those places I played at, I work with the dancers, you know, around the world, and they contribute and do videos to my music that has spanned from this year I'm celebrating 35 years in the music industry. But yeah, so, you know, I still work with the Gen Z, the young kids, get them in it, you know?
That you do.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Red.
Mo.
Yes.
Skibochi says, tell us about Mogi Moose. Mogi Moose, right?
Yes, Moji.
And Moji Moose. And what are you up to with it now?
She's shipping me packages.
It's coming, it's on the way.
I know.
USPS is really bad these days, so I lost like 2 packages now already. So Moji Moose is my skincare brand I started. I make all the products myself. They're completely natural, raw stuff, really good, filled with vitamins, nutrition, no chemicals, nothing in there. It's like food for the skin. And so yeah, I'm growing every year. I let it grow very organically because I usually work like in the clubs, but I also, you know, I don't want investors really or anything because I talk to some people, but they want to change it. They want to put chemicals in there. I said, no, I want to keep it pure and clean and rather grow organically, you know?
And follow what Disciple said. Don't do it. Just stay your own. Or you'll be in a catch-22. Ba-dum-bum. Go
right.
on.
We got to stand our own business, no investors, your record label. Exactly. I think this is the way to go. So I'm doing this and it's growing every year a little bit more. And I'm adding actually right now, I'm in the process during the pandemic, I came up with my clothing line actually to finish it. I was doing clothing in 2009 and then Moji Moose was a priority and now I'm going back into the clothing. So I hand paint everything on the apparel.
Ooh.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
So I have t-shirts and I do my artwork too because I always painted too. So now I do both fashion and art together. So I have it all in one.
And what's the clothing line called?
Wash and Funk. It's a catchy name. Wash and Funk. Yeah, it's going to be very funky. Yeah, and you can wash it.
Just don't confuse the kind of funk it is.
Exactly.
Right. So 2 things. The first one, Eddie Morales wanted to know what's the link to purchase some of your skincare products, and I guess if you could tell them where to find that link.
Oh, that's sweet. It's mojimoose.com. MOGIMOUSSE.com.
All right. And then Be Polite had a question for both of you. And it is, can you talk about your relationships with the dancers? How's that evolved, or how is that for you?
The dancers are everything. You go ahead, Disciple. I mean, you're the DJ.
I am the DJ.
Yes, so you.
My relationship with the dancers is very complicated. Very complex.
That's a good answer.
Very complex, and they know why. Be polite. Okay, I'll tell the truth. Okay, I tell the truth. All right. I hated circles. I hated them. When DJ was at the tunnel, when I first met him, first time I met him, DJ, I'm used to everybody dancing together. I pull Ejo. I said, this is in the tunnel. I pull him off the dance floor. Rob, what you doing? What are you doing? Robert Ricardo's doing his thing. You and Marjorie and Khalid, y'all stealing the show. What's happening? Yo, Ejo was like, this is how I connect with the dancers. So when a party came up, they came out to support it. And guess what? I needed them. And so what happened was I wound up holding on to them like a lifeboat. I mean, I had off and ons. There was sometimes I begrudgingly hated the subject, but then I came to understand that there was a language and a tribe. I think Luce really schooled me. He helped me and helped find like a real understanding of what the circle was. And so there's different levels of dances that I've played for. There's the dancers, there's the boulders, there's the ravers, there's the bottle dancers. So, I needed them in all of the aspects of my career, for the energy, for the connection with the music, for the connection with the people. And now it's kind of been like, I understand that dances are on the forefront. I need Ejo, 25 years later, he was the co-resident with me at Theo Real in New York, in Manhattan, because he was bringing the people. And I was like, what would I do without Ejo? Wow, the guy that I pulled off the dance floor, I need him now. He came through all the time, every time. And so it was a blessing to have that kind of relationship. And I think that a lot of the elite DJs in New York, they work well with the dancers. And in turn, when you look at the Voodoo Ray and the relationship that he's had with Tony Touch and all of that, that kind of, that's kind of a lifeboat for a lot of the DJs that want to maintain success. You can have success, but like with Tony Touch, the way he maintained it is something to be spoken of. And in understanding that. I mean, for me, myself personally, when I first came to Sullivan Room, I was playing the bottle service. And the first time I played in Sullivan Room, they was like, get him out of here. He's whack. Get out. Get him off. So when I came to Funk Box and they invited me, that was the first time I had come back from that situation. But deservedly so, because I wasn't playing the sound. I wasn't playing the underground sound because I didn't know that under the sound was. It was completely underground. So when I came back and I played for Voodoo Ray and Tony Touch, I said, no, I gotta light this up. And ever since then, I've made it a point to always be on point for Tony Touch's part. Because dance is talk. And if you play a bad set then, you can forget about your rep. You're done.
Yeah, I used to.
So sort of like Soulgasm.
Yeah.
You need to know how to play for those dances, because if you don't, your rep is done. It was a beautiful thing to be able to relate to that scene, but also understand the other scenes that you're involved in and engaged in. And I played in a lot of scenes. I don't want to take
funny, when you said that Soulgasm, you're not alone. We don't all love circles. But remember, Soulgasm was so small, I used to go to choose one of the main dancers and be like, you better move so I can take these people that want to get to the bar so they can pay for you guys to keep dancing here. Because, sometimes the dancers don't drink.
Yeah, they never drink.
But they bring They bring all the great energy.
They do break the water.
So Gyzellah, tell us about you and the dancers.
I love the dancers. I used to be one of the dancers. That's how I really got into it when I was young. I was the 14-year-old dancing my butt off on the dance floor. And that's how this is what I was first. I was dancing in the clubs. And then later I started working in the clubs, and I got hired as a go-go dancer once, and I was in a bikini standing on this podium. I did all kind of jobs there. So, but the dancers for me are the soul of the room, they're the soul of the room. You need them, and they set the whole vibe, for me. And also a lot of people, there's people also who don't want to dance first. They set the night off, they come in. And so for me, I always love to give them water as a bartender, and also slide them some drinks here and there, because, I understand that whole thing. Yeah, totally. I mean, I've done it. Yeah. I dance behind the bar now still. It's all about the music and dancing and movement, and that's it. Yeah. I miss it,
Gyzellah, could you tell us a little tidbit about anyone that you want without naming names, because you're at the bar, so I know you've seen something that's like you need to get cut off. Somebody needs to take you out. No.
Oh
Could you
yeah.
give us a little tidbit without naming names? Because, you know, we work with a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, you mean like
Do you want to tell
Like
us?
whatever came to your mind when I just said what I said.
there's a few situations. There are the drunk guys picking up a glass and then puke in it and then put it back in front of you.
Wow.
That's kind of like, okay, you gotta go home. Like right now.
Security.
Yeah. Like you gotta go. Or you have people collapsing, they took too many drugs. You know, you have all kind of stuff going. In nightlife, you have quite a lot at the bar going on, actually. You have a lot of drugs, and also, you know, people grabbing up on other people, and that's also not good, you know. A lot of things. I mean, fights. Sometimes I would stand on top of the bar and you have a fight, you know, and you're like, okay, I gotta help like separate them right now because security's here fast enough, you know, stuff like that. Yeah.
I've been with you for a fight. Have you had any big names really act out?
Any what?
Big names really act out?
No, not really so much. Not that I know right off the bat right now.
That's good. We're doing
Like
good.
big names, no, like not like really like our house music people. No, it's more like really I have like people who are not really the nightlife people who really acted out more than actually our house community, to be honest. Because we know each other, we know when somebody had too much, but it's not as tragic. You know, I mean, you see a lot of stuff. I mean, listen, I've seen a lot of stuff there. We all did, but I mean, not a situation. I mean, I've worked in a club where I didn't know the people, and like I have seen some serious fights. I used to work at Exit. Like I've seen a lot of fights where people throw bottles and cut faces open. I've seen a lot of that too. I mean, that's another scene that was more, I was working a lot before in the house music scene. I was working in a lot of other clubs. And yeah, sometimes it gets down hard. Yeah, I mean, people get injured. The ambulance has to come, you know. But, you know, that's sad. And that's not often, you know, it's not all the time. So
A question about that, because like I know that like, you know, like Red just said, the dancers don't really drink a lot, right? And so sometimes our parties, and one of the struggles with our parties in nightlife in general is that we have a hard time because the dancers are not drinkers, right? So I could imagine that as a bartender, you know, some of these other parties and other scenes may be more like profitable, more lucrative for you, you know?
yeah.
So like, what makes you say like, you know, I want to be here as opposed to making more money, or like, you know?
Well, I've made, first of all, New York changed so much. There is not the money that was here like in the 90s or early 2000s. That's anyway not happening anymore. And actually it's a huge, like I used to make so much money. Like we all did. And once the cash kind of faded out and everything went plastic, when you drink at the bar and then you have to sign this receipt, you see the amount. It's a very sobering moment, right? When you have a huge tab and then you see everything is very controlled all of a sudden, right? It's not like, oh, let's make it rain and drop the money. And so that changed the whole nightlife. And for me, any place where you work, even those places where, for example, people are spending a lot, even that, these places, since everything now is on the books, it has become very corporate now, nightlife. It's not the same. So actually you don't make so much more money often in those, let's say, places which are like for the masses and like commercial, right? You don't actually make that much money anymore. So, and I rather work in an environment where I feel like this is family. I love the people. That's my music. That's love in the room. And that's what I prefer that over anything, you know?
Nice.
And that's why I do other things, you know, because I'm always an artist too and do other things in my life. So I can, you know, balance that, you know. I think the soul of nightlife needs to stay alive. Like I miss, like my favorite parties are really like Louis Wednesday, like Tony Touch, the originals. Like those parties are like still here and they mean a lot to me, you know, because there's nothing like it anymore around. And sometimes you can't always look at the money. And I think a lot of clubs, I think, make a mistake, maybe not taking a party like this often now. This is what I realized, that I realize a lot of people are like, yeah, but we don't make enough money. But no, you need to balance this and get the next day another party, but you need that soul still here because it's fading, you know, and you need to keep that alive because that's legendary, you know, it's something. Like today, nightlife, I work sometimes those EDM parties, right, of these young kids now and trap music. It's unbelievable how, yeah, it has changed. I'm standing there and I don't even know how to communicate with these kids because they don't dance together. They only look at the DJ. It has changed. They don't dress up crazy. We used to dress up crazy. Like my friends didn't even want to walk with me on the street. I used to look ridiculous. You know, I would like, however I felt, I would wear like pink pants, blue hats, like glasses like this big, you know, like look crazy, but it's fun. And now these kids don't express themselves and you don't have any, you know, any more like bald people coming in who do the runway and you know, that's all missing from this new scene. You know, and I think we need to keep it alive. So I think club owners need to really balance this out and say, look, we need some soul up here and here still because that is, you know, it's very valuable for everyone.
I can comfortably say we all agree with you.
I definitely agree.
We all agree with you.
I don't know about all that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
And on that, flipping over a little, Disciple, I have a question for you because I do feel that you are elsewhere. It's like it is for so many other of our kind of artists, our dancers, our DJs. You are appreciated more once you leave New York because I know I've worked with you for I can't super long, and so what is the biggest event that you've done? Where was it? How did it happen? Because I know you've done some huge things that people hear, like, you know, they're like, oh, it's Sapphire, it's this and that. And I'm like, there's so much more going on you don't know about.
Well, I mean, I did the festival game. So
I know you did.
So what happened was, I started traveling to the UK. I did the UK garage scene. I did the UK northern scene. I became a regular at Hard Time between the Ministry of Sound. Then I went to Ibiza. I was one of the first DJs to go play Queen in Ibiza. And then I played at Ministry of Sound in Ibiza, and I was a regular visitor there on Friday nights at Pasha in Ibiza. So fast forward to the bottle service scene. I played the first bottle service club with Roger Sanchez in Ibiza. That's 5R. Then I go to Rehab. Then I go to Pangea, Kane, and then Quo, Pink Elephant, and Air. Are you catching on now? So I've done all of those, but while traveling all over the States, opening up with Daft Punk, opening up and doing bigger and bigger events, touring and traveling and doing 50-state tours. So becoming resident DJ in Detroit and Michigan with DJ Mates, playing regularly in New Mexico. So I do have a world view. And so when I started going into the Dutch scene is completely different. And the Dirty Dutch sound was what really kind of helped pave the way to the EDM sound. And so I saw early on how the festival scene worked. You know, once you get connected through the Dutch scene, then you go to Aruba, then you go to Asia, go to Colombia, Latin America, go to Russia, where the EDM scene kind of really thrives. And so the big room scene, not only that, I was making records that also spoke the language of that scene, okay? So funny story is, I am playing Hard House at this one club. I'm playing and I'm banging it out. Boom, bang, pow, right? I'm banging it out. Hard House. Guess who walks in? it's DJ Camacho. And I see Camacho, I say, okay, that's that work. Kenny Bobian, where's the picture tomorrow? Where is it? Where is the rock? Wait a minute. Okay, Bobby and Steve, you gotta change it. Because if certain DJs come in the room, I don't care who's in the room, I'm gonna change because somebody like Camacho, he's the one that helped bring me in. So I can play hard in front of like 30,000 people, no problem. But if I see one Joe Cosell comes in, Terry Chandler, I'm sending them, quick! No, but in all seriousness though, I do play to the vibe of the room, and that has benefited me in my career. So when I played for the bottle service crowd, it helped propel me because they wanted somebody that musically understood their language. And because I played in Pasha in Ibiza, that kind of gave me pedigree to play at all these other established clubs. You know what I'm saying? The person that does Lavo now, before she was there, she was at King. Jama Cordell. So a lot of the people that are main players now, we worked with before. When I was doing the parties with Fantasy, back in the days, he was the original marquee. So a lot of these places that we've had these relationships with, they've always been there. And I think that's the reason why having my book come out and telling the story about the roller coaster of what it is. I like the feeling of living in Farragut or living in some place remote where people they don't really know my whole story. Everything's kind of like a mystery. But the contribution is big, but I wasn't designed to like be a superstar. That wasn't the role I was meant to play. My role was to hire as many young DJs coming up to help them on their destiny, because that's the whole reason why I do it, is to help somebody else because somebody else helped me. And so Sapphire Lounge now runs from 2010 until the pandemic.
Yeah.
Until the pandemic, I was DJing 5 nights a week. And I'm still DJing 3 nights a week with the pandemic. But what I'm saying is that like was said in the last show, hustlers hustle. And so we always find our way into the road of where our destiny is, if that's our true destiny. For me, in New York City, bottle service and the food service and the deep underground service and the after-hour scene with the medicated people, they all have their own language of how they see the scene. And the way I see it is not just going to be Afro House, because I love Afro House and I love playing Afro House for us, but that's not the only scene there is. Mm-hmm. And so that's not only the only music globally. The music that I make also reflects that, because I put out hundreds of music. But people, when they see me in the clubs in New York, they don't connect me to that. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them saying, well, yeah, we just know DJ Disciple because he knows how to rock for us. And that's what I really want it to be. I don't want it to be where I need to be famous and a constant reminder that I need to be famous. I just want to meet you on the level where you are. And I'll take you where you want to go, musically.
Love it. Our friend DJ True has a question for both of you. And it is, he wants to know, what was your highest paid night and your most fun night for both of you?
Wow.
Ladies first.
That's a tough question. In the early, for me as a bartender, you know, highest paid was like, I think it was a New Year's Eve. I think I worked at Glow nightclub, which was Powder. I don't know if you remember it, on 16th Street. I think I made like almost $2,000. That was probably the highest I made a night as a bartender. You know, that's pretty good. But these times are over.
That is pretty good. And the most fun?
The most fun, oh my God, there's so many. I mean, I'm super spoiled with music. I heard the best DJs in my life. I mean, I had so many fun nights. I just have my, you know, I like my parties. Like, I love the parties which are about community. You know, there's a lot of great parties, but I like parties there once a week or something, and people come together, because that's really what it's about. So that is my favorite. These are my favorite parties.
Yeah, I want to see all my friends at once.
Right.
Yeah.
And all my friends are friends. All my friends are friends. That matters.
Yeah, it does. That's what it is about, I think, you know, the community. And for me, that's it, because the club family is always my substitute. I don't have family, so that's my substitute family. That is my family.
You have family. We're right here.
Yes, exactly. And thank you.
All right, so same.
And Disciple?
Disciple, yes. Your highest paid and your most fun night.
The highest paid had to be 2000 Year's Eve. Global, the beginning of the millennial. And after that, people can buy their houses. You know, you can just buy your house in cash for that one night. So I'll just leave that there. I'm not putting them out on it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say.
Oh.
But, and then as far as my most fun gig, there are plenty. But I think the most rewarding gig was the night after I played after Run DMC. Run DMC, I performed, and I had to close the show. And I ran into the unfortunate situation of the records jumping because people were jumping too high. And I was like, damn, the records are skipping. They keep skipping and they keep skipping. You know, it skips once, people understand, but you know, we didn't have the rubber bands and all of that. And because there were thousands, there must have been like 15, 20,000 people jumping. And I said, no, the record. So the next day they sorted it out, man, I let them have it. I was like, yes, this is the thing. Take this. Take that. So, you know, a few Jones Beaches later, you know, I became like Phi Beta Sigma's DJ. Post the show, come up the zone, into the City College. I played for all the community colleges after that Syracuse Weekly, all the big events they wanted me for. So it was the most rewarding gig that I've had.
Nice.
It is nice. Mo, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Once again, this guy named Ali Coleman.
Hi, Ali.
Apparently he's obsessed with us.
We love Ali.
We love him so much.
Ali.
He said, are you and Richard Alvarez brother and sister? He said he thought he knew this, but he realizes he does not.
We're not.
I was gonna say, you already told us about your Portugal.
Oh,
and,
yeah. So we are related, though.
Okay, go.
Everybody sit down. It's my ex-husband.
Oh,
let me sip my wine.
Oh. Whoa.
no, that's really
What
not
an awesome fun fact.
The truth comes out. Listen, it's a long story, which I'm not going to tell on here, but I'll tell you one day. But we actually related.
Wow.
In that way. Yes.
That's pretty amazing.
Yes. And he is my family, and I love his family, like his sister, Gina, and yeah, it's family.
Man, let's everybody just take 5 seconds. Just get yourselves together.
Hold on. Got the disco ball. This is what I do. That's the info moment.
Right. Sorry, I just.
That's
so right now.
Oh my God.
I wanna ask you.
Disciple.
Yeah.
Because I was holding this, so I know that you are, well, one thing to our people that are listening with us, we all know Instagram cuts us off after an hour. If we do get cut off during this conversation, we are not coming back. We will continue talking, and you can find the bonus conversation on our YouTube channel, and that is Sin, Rose, and Redness's Bedtime Stories on YouTube. Disciple.
My bio, just click it. Red post it on.
Subscribe so you'll know.
I love it.
And you'll find all of our, you know, previous episodes there too. Disciple, so you mentioned, which I knew that you are working on a book. How'd that come about? What's that about?
It's about a DJ that finds success, success internationally. That's from Farragut Projects. And Farragut has a history, and it's about that, you know. And so many, I don't want to get too deep into it, but it really talks about the beat, the scene, and the sound. You know, I've played on a lot of scenes. Not really a lot of people know about how many scenes I've played for, how much music. Did you know that I got nominated for a Grammy?
See, there it is. There's more stuff. Let me sip my wine again.
Did you know that I was the #1 Billboard artist?
Nice.
Did you know that I just, you know, I don't, the thing is that my contribution, I like to keep on a humble because of the simple fact that that's how you go further in life, is by being humble and not being all about yourself. And I don't want to be counterproductive with it, but I felt more empowerment doing our DJs Against Hunger and doing events that I felt that if that DJ didn't have a platform, he felt like he didn't have hope because he wanted, like myself, to survive on hustle, to have that self-preservation. And I always felt that I needed to help somebody else, whether it's the new producer, the singer, or the new DJ. So that's always been a part of the path because I knew that I was blessed going forward to find whatever success I found in music. Not a lot of people know that my brother played the bass for George Benson. And that, you know, the guy that worked with him, that they set it off, they were all, you know, close. A lot of people don't know a lot of stories about me. And so it's important for me to tell this house music story. I don't think when Wild Pitch was published that a lot of people knew what they knew about Wild Pitch. And in that aspect, or Larry's role in it, you know, people, they really focus on the garage. What happened. I think that helped some people understand why things are the way they are. The marginalization of it. One thing I didn't really put in the book that I will kind of understand is that the learning that I still learn is because of the way society is now. I'm really happy about the online DJing that's going on right now within all of the talented DJs, because how much can you watch the three Americas of CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC talking all this political stuff? Meanwhile, people like me, you gotta shoot me from the chest up because I need social distancing from the refrigerator. Stop. So, you gotta shoot me from the chest up. From the chest down, it ain't looking so good right now. I can't be doing no live streaming anytime soon. Don't ask me. I don't want to hear. Can you throw me a mix? You know, people. I DJ at Marcus Country Beef Bakery, and they're like, "Are you online? Are you live? Can I see you?" I don't know. I'm pregnant right now. I don't want to see nobody. I don't want to see nobody. But no. But as far as my musical contribution, I still want to make that. That's why it's so important for me to yeah, I'm writing a book, but I also want to stay current with the time, where dance music is right now. You know, as Black and Latin people in New York, we are so disconnected with electronic music on the tech house scene. Yeah, EDM has its playing field, but Brooklyn has shown that this is the era of techno's revenge. And we're seeing a lot of South African young kids get into it. The people from Detroit have made waves in South Brooklyn. But the demographic for 18 to 31-year-old Black and Latin DJs that are playing house music is like a baseball phenomenon where it's bigger. And so we have to make, as older DJs, it's my job to kind of contribute to give those younger talents hope. I just put out a remix this was last week. This guy did a record called Yes. The boy that did it, he's from England. He's 18 years old. He did this remix. It's a funky house remix. But it gives him hope. He looks at me like, oh, you're disciple, da, 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 da. But I'm saying, like, no, you're the future. And we have to look on how can we maintain house music for the future. We can't really talk about and address, oh, is there racism in dance music? Is there politics that where black people and Latin people can't get in? No, we have to really work with access and work with, okay, what are we doing with this in front of us? Are we letting stuff pass by just so we can hold on to the past? Or are we going to move forward to the future and apply those things? I don't want to sound political, but those are the things I stay up at night.
Those are gems from someone who has lived this.
Right.
That is so treasured because it's actually very true, everything that you're saying. Like there's no, you know, eventually people get older and they die. And the only way for us to continue to have this continue is for us to embrace the youth and bring them along and get into what they're into also. So I agree with you 100%, and I've seen in my chat room, everybody's like, yes, preach.
Yeah, same. And Disciple, I can vouch. You've done a really good job of that because I can't even, there's so many names that came up on your different flyers, and I admit I'm one of, we're like, what? Who are these people? Who are these people? People will go just because you're presenting it, but you constantly bring in younger people who nobody knows. And you're like, well, maybe somebody's going to know you after this. And that's a wonderful thing, because that's also not easy, because we are fickle people. We are a fickle crowd.
And back to the front of it all. I noticed that like over the years, because I was one of those wild pitch kids that used to come right in the 90s and the late 80s or whatever to go to the parties and listen to Disciple, and seeing you over the years, I've also noticed that like you also go to different clubs and listen and sit and pay attention, and that's really important as well, you know.
But it's funny. You want to hear something funny? I love it. And Red does. She probably sees this sometimes too. You get a DJ that think they all about them. And they're like, yeah, I'm coming on the door. Who are you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just working at the door. And so they'll be coming in, they'll pay the money. And I get two types of people. The people that pay and got an attitude, or the people that don't pay because they feel that they're privileged. And so the person comes in and he's like, yeah, I'm the man. They get their drinks and And so they dissing everything around them. And I just come in and I'll come in and I'll close the night out. And they be like, oh, you was the guy that said the door, what are you doing DJing? But I like that position because that keeps me humble. I don't have to be the superstar DJ. I like being in the least position because I know that I've been blessed thoroughly. And so if I can help somebody else on that journey, that's what's up, you know? That's where it's at for me. That's me. I can't speak for everybody else. Not everybody's meant to play that role, but I love playing that role.
I like it. You know, I like it.
I like it.
Yeah, traveling. And also traveling, like, I mean, it's funny because I was in house music in Europe too. And it's funny because 1993, actually, I told Barbara Tucker because I was working the door in a nightclub in Europe, in Germany, and she did the Marlboro tour. You know, the people, like, it's, I think traveling also and breaking out of the scene is important, you know, because people overseas, they need the soul from New York. They love it, you know, like you can actually make real money over there in other countries. You know, you can travel and you get different elements. And I think even as a DJ, you pick up different sounds and styles, right? When you travel, I think Disciple, he did that. He did travel and so, you know, I mean, you adapt things, you know, from your travels. And I think this is how you grow as well. I think in nightlife too, that's how nightlife changes, music changes. I don't know. I mean.
No, you do know. You do know.
I was inspired. I was inspired by what they did as well. Definitely, like, just think about it like this. I played at the Lawn, with David Massachusetts place when it was called Detroit. But I also played in the Lawn in the UK with Paul Trouble Anderson.
Oh, wow, okay.
From that, playing at the Law, helped birth with those DJs, the UK garage scene. A lot of people in America not really, they're not knowledgeable about what the UK garage scene is.
Yeah, it's
But,
very different.
right? It's just completely
Yeah,
different.
I was over
But
there.
it is an MC orientated kind of vibe.
Yeah.
You go to Switzerland, you have Mr. Mike and DJing. But when you go to Germany, you know, it's more instrumental, it's more dubby, it's more, you know, and then when you go to France, it's kind of in between. So you got different layers to,
Yeah.
and sometimes you can be influenced by what's coming there. And then when you come back to New York, you show that influence, and then they'll be like, oh, this is what's different about that DJ. So it kind of works both ways. It's just not me playing my sound all over the world. It's kind of me playing the global sound. A piece of what I picked up from each territory that I played in to kind of put that global pop together and say, okay, this is the style that's me, but it's also influenced by others.
Right, because that's great. You see, that's love, like you, and that, you know, funny too, when I lived over there, the house music scene is, like I said, I met Barbara Tuck in 1993. She doesn't remember me, but I was like, oh, I loved her Marlboro tour. It was amazing. And so then I work at Cielo, and all of a sudden Barbara Tucker walks in when I started there in 2006. I was like, I know you, I've seen you. Like in 1993, and that's how it's funny how small the worlds are. It's like DJ Pippi, you know Pippi from Ibiza?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so
Very well.
I actually, when I was little, I was hanging out with him all the time. We worked in the same club. So it's funny, and then he came as a guest DJ to Cielo, but he's very good friends with Nicholas Matar, and how all this is connected. It's a small scene, and I love actually when that happens. I'm like, wow, so we're still in the same scene. Doesn't matter where you are, you know?
Yeah, I mean, but playing with DJ Pippi, right? A lot of the Spanish DJs from Spain and Ibiza, specifically, and this is in my book, I talk about how the invasion of the British nightlife and the promoters kind of got in the way. Because at first, you know, it wasn't that many DJs playing in Ibiza. They were the Spanish DJs. You know, you had the Flower Power, you had, you know, Pure Pasha and so forth. But when the British started coming, it felt like the Spanish DJ felt like, well, wait a minute, there's like an overbooking. There's way too many DJs now. And some of them kind of felt shunned out. I think that Pippi, for a certain degree, he made the best of the situation because he made Pasha. Like, DJ Pippi put his footprint in Pasha. He gave that room identity. He made that room work for 5,000 people every single weekend. Yeah. That's what Pippi did. And me and him talk. Me and Cesar de la Maro talk. Cesar was the first person to bring Acid House to Ibiza. So we talking early days. Ibiza's been doing this since the mid-'80s. So when you talk about Spain and Pippi and what his influence is and what his impact is, I'm very much in line with what you're thinking and what you're saying, but I also understand that with every scene there's going to be politics.
Yeah.
Footprints. Like I would say, like whatchamacallit, Pippi was like the Larry Band of Pasha. Because when the British DJ couldn't get the night right, they could bring in a Pippi and then he could clean it right up. And he could bring that understanding to the room and make the room understand the language of international music. We have to understand that outside of Miami, Ibiza, if you broke a record in Ibiza, it was broken all over the world.
Yes.
Everybody paid attention to that record if it was broken in Ibiza. And so that's why it was important to for Eric Murillo and Roger Sanchez to have their residencies there. And then after that, you had Swedish House Mafia and David Guetta and so forth, and that proliferation of the EDM scene. Then once they blew up, then it took over in Vegas because obviously America, the EDM scene hit America. I might be explaining a bit too much. Let y'all talk.
I think it's wonderful. I'm like, he's dropping jewels over here. Y'all better be paying attention, taking notes.
It's great.
I stopped myself from picking up a notepad, because I don't want you to forget what you said.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. It's so funny.
It really is.
It's a lot of history there with music. Like when I traveled over there and then I see here, like, for example, Sven Fate, you know, he plays very hard house music, or more techno actually, but I used to live over there and he blew up, and you know, me, Pippi and him, we used to hang out all the time. We worked at the same club. They weren't as big. That was 1989, 1988. And they're huge now. I mean, they blew up, you know, which is amazing. I love that it happens. And, you know, you see the whole journey, because music is life, and it's like, you know, it's traveling.
Yeah, I mean, spend that from Cocoon, those Cocoon nights, they made him.
Frankfurt.
Right. So Cocoon
Yep.
kind of made him, but then you think about, like, say for instance, like a DJ like Carl Cox, Space kind of made him.
Yeah.
So what happens is that when you go to Ibiza, once you've done and you've made an impact in Ibiza, that goes around the world. Your name is good for around the world. So you wind up in the top 100 DJs. I was in the top 100 DJs 3 to 4 times in my career. So what comes with being in the top 100 DJs? You get at least 150 gigs to 200 gigs a year. Let's let that marinate for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's just let that marinate.
Let that sink
200,
in.
150. So that means you're working on a regular basis. Now, commanding X amount of dollars.
Got days.
You understand what I'm saying?
200.
So now, that was back in my day. Now, today, if you're on the top 100 DJs in DJ Magazine, you can command 10, 20, $30,000 if you're at the bottom 500. I mean, bottom 50. But if you're in the top 50, then you can get $200,000 to $300,000 post the pandemic. Obviously, the pandemic changed the game, but yo, the DJs were in the Forbes top one. Yo, the top Forbes, the highest paid DJs are EDM DJs. The Calvin Harris, all of these guys, yeah? They're the top DJs. People can question if they want, why aren't there black DJs? Why aren't there this? It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with access and homework and the ability that it's about marketing. It's about strategy. That's what EDM is. So you can't be upset about that situation, but we should be grateful and understand and help our own scene thrive. Much like what's happened in South Africa. When we look at the producers that are coming out, the Kool-Aid the Song, the Black Coffee, all of these people that we play in New York, we're feeling their music. The millennials and the Gen Z, the South African house music is the house music of
I love
generation of today.
Yeah.
That's their generation.
Yeah.
We can't, it seems like we're looking to piggyback off that if we're making music, but I DJ'd at La Souk, and I was playing at Afro Beat Night. And so I played, and WizKid was there. You know WizKid, right?
Yeah.
It's an old school name.
No, he's not old school. WizKid, he's a new producer. A lot of young kids love him.
Yeah.
You know, he's done a popular record. So WizKid's there, and the guy's like, yo, WizKid's is here, and you gotta play all his music. And I said, really? He said, yeah, man. But I said, the Afrobeat party's over. This is my part of the party. He said, I don't care. You gotta play WizKid for about an hour, 2 hours straight. I knew his music.
Yeah.
They were shocked that I could rock his music. WizKid and them, they were really happy. But the Afrobeat night took over my night, and that was the last time I played it. So it was a beautiful thing because there were no house music promoters there anyway. You know, it had become a full-fledged Afrobeat night. But it also showed me that this is what the kids love. And I connect to that to a certain degree. I was happy to play those style of music because I'm confident in my ability to play house music. But it's the other music that I also like playing too. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just like some people that like salsa, they don't like reggaeton. Just like some people that like hip hop, they don't like trap. There's always going to be a story of what you do and what you don't like. And music is a language. And the way the kids understand it may never be the way we understand it. You know? But, you know.
And I'll say also that, like, to that note, like, you know, music is a language, but there's also, you know, the fact that you can do that and alternate and go into all of these different things and get into all of these pockets and get it. That's one of the things that makes you a real DJ. And my assessment of a real DJ is like someone that can go in, that knows how to read the crowd, that knows how to bring an energy up because they're feeling that crowd and knows where to go with that, right? But that's something that, like, you know, you have to practice and learn, right?
Yeah.
What I would love to know is, like, when do you feel like you had that? Like, at what point in your career did you feel like, okay, no, I got this?
I got this as far as what?
As far as like being able to go in, and even if it's like not what you expected, like for example,
the comfortability
there. Now all of a sudden you got a rock WizKid and you could still play that lane because you're comfortable there, because you know that this is what I need to do to rock this crowd right now.
Well, at one point in my career, I was going over to the UK so much they thought I was British. They literally thought, first of all, there's a mentality that happens in the UK. The mentality is disciples, yeah, you come from America, but you're not really theirs. You're ours. You are ours. You are not theirs. That is a serious mentality that I have. You know why? Because I think that connection started with Bobby and Steve, but to a more degree playing at Nate KCC's Notting Hill Carnival. Now, what's the connection with KCC Notting Hill Carnival? KCC is half of the party that the producers that wrote Bang the Party, Bang Bang Your Mind. You remember that record, Red?
Yeah,
Bang,
I'm
bang.
it right now. That's when the music started to get sexy.
Yeah, Bang the Party, right? So what's that connection? Well, Larry LeBand, the first record he ever broke for me was Bang the Party. That was the staple of my radio show. And that is my connection to KCC. And so I played at KCC Notting Hill Carnival from 94 until 2010, 2011. I stopped traveling because I took care of my daughter. And that was more important. Giving life is more important than traveling. And that was my responsibility. I was happy to do that. Plus, I left England on a good note. I didn't want to mess it up. So that's I don't want to go further because I know Gyzellah might have something to say. Yeah.
Well, I've got one question. This is all for me, all personal, super random. Wasn't there an old school WizKid? I understand the WizKid you're talking about, but I'm not nuts, right? Wasn't there like another WizKid back in whenever?
I just got put
like
on
a hip hop guy you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm not that crazy.
No.
Okay,
there's
good.
a WizKid. There's a new guy named WizKid that's been
okay. I had to get that straight and get that out. I was stuck for a minute.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that it might be fun to do something. This is all live that we haven't done before, which was Disciple. How about, do you have a question for Gyzellah? And Gyzellah, do you have a question for Disciple? And if you don't, come up with one.
Gyzellah, I'll let you go first.
Why, you getting tired now?
No, I'm good. I can go, but I like to get the energy first. Ladies first.
Okay, I love that you were at Cafe Noir, and I was there too. And I actually don't remember it because we partied really hard at Cafe Noir.
Uh-huh.
So what was the days you were there? Because I can't even remember much because this is how bad it was.
Well,
so what happened
was it really bad? Was it really?
I was like, no, it was.
Don't elaborate.
Cafe Noir was like the end where I was like, okay, I need to slow down and leave it.
So basically,
I gotta leave it and just stop everything right now. And I did. But Cafe Noir was wide, and actually we're all still friends. And actually, would you come to because me and George, the owner, we met the other day after 10, 12 years. I saw him And we're gonna get all together, like all the people who work there, and we have some dinner or drinks. You need to come too. We need to set this up because that's like a throwback.
Well, what ended up happening was I had a one hitter quitter situation. And the one hitter quitter is just like, this is the one hitter quitter.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody come to need me to DJ. This has happened a couple of times. When somebody come to need me to DJ, I come play. And the resident they had, they're not the resident no more. So what happened was, on a Friday night, I come in, I play the set, the people love it. They said, what you doing next Friday? I said, I'll come through, no problem. So I come through next Friday. How would you like to be the resident? You know, we got dinner over here. You want something to eat? So, you know, boom, catch it, brother, quick. Catch it like a cone. I caught it like a cone. It's like, ooh. Okay, I'm in. Okay. So they was feeding me, and I was playing for them, and they was paying me good on a Friday night. I couldn't do, they wanted me to do both nights, but I couldn't do Saturday because I was doing Queens. I was doing Grand Cafe. And I was doing a lot of the restaurants because that was a private business for DJs. Wasn't always limited to those kind of situations. I like doing all of the different restaurants. A lot of people don't know that I can play Arabic music, that I play Albanian.
I love that,
music,
yeah.
French music,
Like
Serbian, Croatian music. So when I DJ at the restaurant, if there's an Indian couple that's there, I know how to play Indian music. If with the Arabic family, I know how to play Arabic music. If there's a Jewish family, I know how to play some Hebrew songs that they know. If there's a, you know, so I know how to play for a lot of, and that's kind of like, when the owners see me at these cafes, they're like, look, you can't go nowhere. You know, that has been my situation in the restaurant. But going back to Cafe Noir, it was a little short French girl. She was the one that like kind of initiated the George, like, yo, he ain't going nowhere. He's creating the vibe for real. And then George, you know, eventually had me.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we had a good run until they closed. And then that was the end of it.
I think you came even in later. After
I came later.
Yeah.
2012.
Because that's why, okay, I was already gone.
Yeah.
But that was a cool spot though, because I liked the vibe always there. It was a wild spot, actually. It was wild back in the day, for sure.
Mm.
But yeah, so, I don't know.
So I got a question, like, I don't drink. I never drank in my life. Right? As a matter of fact, people come and they ask me, me and Red, we have a mutual friend named Becky. And I just get Becky the drink tickets. I don't ask no questions. You know, email comes, yo, who got the drink tickets? Yo, you can have them all. Okay?
I think I know Becky.
I don't do it. But let me ask you, like, when you talk to people, when you socialize, and you get into music with them, after they had a few in their system, what's the most funny thing that you've seen, how people have acted out? You know, after they've been medicated after a while of drinking. What's the most engaging that you've seen in a person?
I've seen very funny stuff, like people do a shot and then they actually don't find their mouth. And I'm like, I think you had enough. And hey, the shoot is like right over the shoulder. And I'm like, okay, that was the last one. Or I had this guy, it was funny too, you know, 151 Bacardi is really strong, and I don't suggest that to anyone at the bar. After a few drinks, you need to not have that 151. And most bars don't even carry it because it's really strong and it really messes you up. So this guy, a lot of, you know, vomiting happens too, you know, which is kind of funny sometimes, even though it's gross, but it's also funny because the guy drank the shot and immediately it came out with everything. And it's like interesting how some people, they can't take anything, but there's funny situations. Or, I mean, sometimes I feel bad too because they really messed up and I'm like, okay, water now. People lean into other people's glasses with the elbow. It's stuff like that, like really klutzy things, you know, because people lose control over their bodies, over their arms, and yeah, so falling down, sleeping at the bar, like some people, they just put their head on the bar and just stand up and sleep, or like really funny thing. Yeah.
You ever had that one customer that like, you guys be like, last call, and they be like, yo, this is the first call with me. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going nowhere. You're going to have to fight me to leave this bar. I ain't going nowhere. The party is just started. What are you talking about, last call?
Oh yeah, we had a lot of those, and then they actually really don't want to leave, even with security. So they're still there. They're like, I'm not going. No, you need to go. We're closed. Like, I'm not going. And they still want. They just sit there and they don't want to leave. It's funny. Yeah, you have funny situations, of course. You know, it's funny, but.
Wow.
Well, guys,
I miss those situations right now. You know. Because,
Yeah.
I think we all do, the good and the bad of it.
yeah. Yeah. Everything.
Absolutely.
Well, Cindy, you got anything to say before we begin to sign off?
I love you guys. I really appreciate you both for being here with us today and sharing with us. Like, it really just warms me up inside. Like, you know, to be able to not just, you know, because in reality, we don't get a lot of experiences outside of our club experiences with our club friends, right? And so it's nice to be able to have this as a moment that we're able to get to, like, be in each other's houses and, like, you know, and get to know some things that we didn't know. Like, you know, I learned some things about both of you today that I didn't know, you know, and so I'm really thankful for that, and thankful for you both, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm Red too, you know, I love you, girl.
I love you all the time, every day. Guys, this was wonderful, and I need you both to know that just the comments of what I was saying, you guys are funny. You're both very funny, and people were like, these guys are great. So you know, eccentric and funny, and just the things that we are, and the reason why we did ask you here, because you guys are fun and bubbly, and you do have stories, and really grateful. It was great. It was great. This has been great, and I miss everybody, and I miss you guys, and you know. Would you say, Sam?
No, I was gonna say we'll send you the YouTube link once we
Yeah, I'm sure it's more details. You know, there was one thing I wanted to get in, and that's about Sam Burns, man.
Oh, Sam.
First time listen, let me tell you something. I was playing at Howard Homecoming, and I rocked the crowd at Howard Homecoming. I did a party there, and they said, "Oh, you want to do an after party?" I said, "Yeah." So I'm playing, and it's the first time. I'm playing for about an hour, and I'm doing good, and then the people leave. Everybody left the room. They gone. I said, yo, where's everybody at? I'm playing the hot tunes. Where's everybody going? Everybody went downstairs. Then the security said, oh, this room's closed. And then I go downstairs, and Sam Burns is beating down the set. My Lord. He made me go to the record store to try to search for what he was looking for. I still ain't found any record store. I love you, Sam Burns.
That's a wonderful way to
That's wonderful.
Yes, it is. Well, guys, thank you so much. You know.
Thank you once again.
Let's go and we come see you, Disciple.
Yeah, come to the bakery.
I have dinner.
Avenue. I don't really want to promote it too much because you be thinking the house has to be ready to dance down there. Nah, this is sit down and chill and eat. Like, I can't chill. They be like, yo, they be putting baking powder on the concrete. Nah, it's not that. It's not that.
You ain't never lied.
It's gonna be like this there. Hey, restaurant.
Can't do like that.
But
Yeah, man,
I'm
nah.
gonna bring all of this. No. No, but it's nice. I'm not even saying partying. I'm just like, it's nice. Have a dinner, hear you play. Why not? Let's do it.
So what she said, people, what she said, don't think you're going to go there. It's not a dance floor.
Nah, man, I can't promote it.
Cake.
Because people feel like they be,
Right, it's not a
they be
party.
eating it. Listen, they be eating the cake and they be trying to get up against. I mean, like, yo, slow your roll. Bring it down level. Nah, you can't bring the tambourine.
Calm down.
You want to bring the garage era to the coffee and cake. You can't. It's not happening.
Okay, I only bring this then. I'm gonna just bring this because
Oh, my
that's
God.
great.
Anyway.
I love it.
Well,
All right.
All right.
I think that could be it. That's a great way to end.
I guess it's time to say goodnight.
Right. I'm Red, and
I'm Sin Rose.
and this has been Bedtime Stories. We will see you all next Tuesday with our next guest. Thank you, guys. This was a lot of fun. My cheeks hurt from smiling and laughing.
We love you. Thank you so
Love
much.
you too. Thank you.
And people out there in the streets, it's not over. Stay home and stay away from dummies. And on that note, good night.
Good night. Good night. Mwah. Bye.
Good night. Love
Hey
you.
guys, don't leave yet.
Oh, how do we leave?
Wait, no, you stay. I want to say one thing.
Oh.